I'm Dustin Baker. I'm a small business owner, SBA lending professional, and a strong believer in the power of entrepreneurialism to bring the best out in our communities. 2020 was tough, but I believe we're resilient. So I'm traveling the country, talking to small businesses and the SBA lenders who help them succeed in order to prove it. We're on a mission to build community through shared story. No airports for me. This is my chariot. The road is calling. We're gonna do some fun stuff, and you really need to come watch it because it's gonna be amazing and all the cool kids are doing it. So join me on the SBA Roadshow. We are leaving Cincinnati, actually Covington, Kentucky, in the rain, thankfully not the snow, and headed to Chicago today for the Roadshow's last stop. See you guys in the Windy City. We're on our way to Chicago to talk with longtime friend Bruce Lammers, who is really well known in our industry for good reason. But right now, I'm really glad that I bought some wool under trousers before I left Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's really cold, y'all. We're gonna get back in the car now. See you soon.
What are you doing, Dustin?
We're making real coffee somewhere in Indiana. This is a washed Ethiopian coffee from Quill's Coffee in Louisville, Kentucky. And we've taken Kentucky with us here. The water in our trusty kettle. All right, where are we gonna make this work? Does not want to work. We'll just bring the solo stove next time and just build a fire in the bed of the truck and boil the water over the fire.
Jet boil.
Yeah, because that's practical. You guys didn't know this was a coffee vodcast, but you know what? We're the jacks of many trades on the SBA Roadshow. Wait. Kirk's never been to Chicago. Kirk might want me to stop making coffee so we can go to Chicago, but I think Kirk wants to drink the coffee too.
I'll drink it so we can get there.
We're gonna make it to Chicago somehow. 4, 3, 2, 1, and the dump. That is what I'm talking about right there. Coffee is ready. I'm gonna go dump these grounds.
Give me just a little bit.
Cheers. Driving in a snowstorm. Oh, can you see the windmill behind me? We're driving through these fields in the middle of northern Indiana that are flat as they can be, and there's these massive windmills, but you can barely see them in the snowstorm. This is pretty exciting. We're about 2 hours outside of Chicago, and from Texas and Oklahoma, where I've grown up, something in me just kind of wants to get out and make a snow angel, but we gotta keep driving. The SBA Roadshow is entering Illinois, so I don't know how many states that is, but it snows a lot in Illinois, apparently, and we only have about 20 more miles to our place just off Lake Michigan in downtown Chicago, so we're not going to see much of the skyline today, but we are almost there for our last stop. Bruce, how you doing, Stella?
Hello.
It's good to see you. It's funny, like we've been talking about all kinds of stuff for a lot of years now.
Yeah.
You know, you turn some cameras on, it feels a little different. I probably should start by, I don't know who all will be our audience and who all will be watching this, but they probably don't all know who you are and some of your track record. Maybe describe a little bit of your history in banking and how you made your way into the SBA industry to begin with.
So I could start with my first paper route, but
We didn't.
Let's start with your.
We didn't make SBA loans, but I did learn how to collect. So I got my start really in SBA lending. I told earlier I made a loan to a car dealer back during the recession for car dealers in Texas, and I saw the benefit of SBA lending for the bank and for the borrower. And I really had a hard time getting people in, when things are good, it's hard to get people to understand the benefit. And I had some friends at a bank up in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and eventually I went to work there. And we were the SBA lender for Wisconsin and really for a big region. And people would come and see how we did our business. And so we produced a lot of talent out of that bank and a lot of SBA volume, and it was a mixture of a conventional bank and an SBA bank and a USDA bank, or actually back then it was Farmers Home. And so that's really where I learned the value, both to the borrower, long-term debt for long-term assets, and then also the benefit for the bank of being able to have a loan on the books and sell it and keep on recycling the money. We had a business plan to do commercial lending in Chicago and the Milwaukee area, and real estate lending and SBA lending. And then I think on the day that, God, who was it that failed?
Was it Bear Stearns or Lehman?
Lehman failed. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even sell an SBA loan in the secondary market, mm-hmm. and that was it was a real awakening. And our strategic planning session was happening on the day that Lehman Brothers failed. I went around the room and talked about what should we do, and somebody said, well, maybe we should stop making SBA loans. And I said, well, I think maybe we ought to maybe that's all we ought to do. And
just stop doing everything else.
We stopped. I said, if an SBA loan is only worth a point in the gain on sale, what do you think the conventional loans we'd have to give away to get rid of them? And so everybody that was with us at the time either became part of the government guaranteed lending section or was working on problem loans that we had already created. And so government guaranteed lending saved us because of our focus, and we turned it into an opportunity to build on that specialty and became a large player in the SBA and USDA lending. USDA during that time, during the height of the recession, went to a 90% guarantee with no fees. And I've always said the best of loans are made in the worst of times, and we made some really good loans and worked with companies whose banks were telling them they had to raise private equity or they had to have sub-debt. And so it was a real opportunity. We did a lot of commercial finance as a result.
You didn't say it, but Ridgestone became a perennial top 10 SBA lender. I think was the number one USDA B&I lender in the country for several years at least also.
Yes.
And then I think Byline, the bank that bought Ridgestone, is still functioning. I think the second largest lender in the country right now. So you've gone through some stretches of adversity. What are the biggest hurdles to being successful? A lot of people want to succeed in this space but don't. What are some of the biggest challenges that you think keep people from achieving the goals they set for themselves in this sector?
Well, first of all, it's not about the goals that I set. It's about the people that we hired, and the people that were able to hear the vision, see the vision, and live it with me. The only way you're going to be successful is if you are part of it. The leadership has to own it just as well as the people. You got to set the example, and you can't delegate it to somebody if you really want that division or that company to be successful. So it's really a part ownership and if you lead and people know that you are fully invested, the people will come along with that. And there were a lot of, I still get calls from people talking about the excitement that we created.
These are people that used to work for you, Richstone Byline?
People that worked with me, that we created a real excitement because we were growing and we had a vision and we communicated what that was, and it was just a real a time where you've got a growing company and people see what they're doing to help other people. There's a helpful side of this, and then there's the capitalist side of this, and you got to bring it all together.
I noticed how you corrected me there. I said it's people that worked for you, and you said people that worked with you, and that's an important perspective. And that wasn't an accidental correction, I don't think.
No, people worked with me, and I people would say, "This is my boss." No, I'm not a boss. We work together, and that's important.
You have a number of times introduced yourself to people we've spoken to since your retirement by saying that you're a recovering banker. Does one ever truly recover?
I don't think so.
How's that process going for you now, the recovery process?
I'm still interested in banking, and I'm interested in, that's the other thing is I'm a deal junkie. I like deals. I mean, I like reading about businesses. I like seeing businesses, meeting people that have run businesses, and so to me that's part of the reward. And I would read every credit write-up that we produced, and there were some late nights where I would sit at home reading deals. But to me, part of it is understanding and structuring the credit, and making sure that people knew that I was interested. So I don't know if I'll recover, but we'll see.
Jury's out. But what is the impact that you hope you have had on the people who've worked with you and helped you build the things that you've built and been alongside for this journey?
I hope that one of the things that they came away with was honesty and fairness, because that is, I think I've been fair with people, and I think leading by example has been important, and showing that that what we did and what we do is important. That we, it's just, we're not just there making money. We're helping people, and I think there's a real balance that comes with the business that we have, and that's partly the legacy. I still have people that borrowers that call me and want my thought about things, and I've got former employees that call me, and I, that's flattering. And I hope that they see that I was there for them, and both the borrowers as well as the employees.
Thank you for doing this.
I don't know if this is what you wanted.
I just wanted to talk. I think we talked. Today we filmed the last interview of the first leg of the SBA Roadshow, just ruminating on some of the things that we've learned. So I started working in the SBA industry 21 years ago, but I've never gotten this close to the small businesses that have benefited from this program, and just to see the grit and determination in a year like this has been awe-inspiring, even for me, having run my own business now for a little over 11 years. I don't think I was ready to be inspired the way that I have been. And I tend to be a pretty hopeful and optimistic person, but this last year has had a way of beating a fair amount of that out of me. And I think a lot of people are similar. We're just tired. But in meeting these people and seeing the hopefulness that they have, seeing their vision for the future, seeing their investment in their communities. I think we've all got a lot of reasons to be hopeful, not just for 2021, but in the midst of all the kind of negative news and talk and divisiveness and polarization. What I've seen is a variety of kinds of people who all have hopefulness for what they can do where they live and where they function. And I hope that's something that we can share with you guys, our audience for this first season of the SBA Roadshow. And we hope you'll join us as we head out again soon and see another part of the country and take those stories out to you as well. So we're signing off from the SBA Roadshow in Chicago. I'm gonna go, I think, order a giant Lou Malnati's pizza and consume a couple thousand calories for lunch, and we'll be on the road. We'll see you out there. Bye, guys.